Hello, pandas of the internet. My name is Panda-chan. I'm a full-time artist-ish, a part-time cosplayer, and someone who has been swamped with my full-time job for the past 3 months. Not fun. But as my New Year's resolution, I will be trying to post weekly. That being said, today's horror story is about how that guy becomes a DM and has some really prejudiced thoughts on certain races. A trigger warning for mentions of rape before we start, but with that, grab a drink, relax, and let's get into it. This RPG horror story was posted by Blood of the Dragon. The MSDM ruins my character's backstory and the campaign. So, I was playing in my usual D&D group a couple of months ago. Our group's that guy ended up DMing. We were concerned but couldn't really complain since our favorite DM was burnt out, and that guy already had a campaign in the wings. I rolled up an orc and wanted to play a fighter, and the DM said, "Orcs are uncivilized, so they can't be fighters. They have to be either druids or barbarians if you want to go that route." This is after he told us we can create our own homelands and cultures for our characters. I felt that was railroady and it gave me second thoughts about the campaign, but I didn't listen to my gut like I should have. I accepted it and chose to be a barbarian. I then asked him if there was anything else about orcs I needed to know for this campaign. He said, "Not that I can think of." So, we start playing in the small human/elf town. I meet up with the other party members at the typical tavern intro, where my presence in the tavern becomes noticeably bothersome to the NPCs. A couple of guys approach us and say, "We don't take too kindly to people around here," as they begin drawing their weapons. And now we are in combat with a bunch of drunks who hate orcs. This would have been interesting if we didn't walk out of the tavern and go down the street to check out the shops and were greeted with the same level of hostility, all because I was an orc. By the end of the first session, we had left the town without a quest and leveled up due to all the randos we had to kill that attacked us. After the session, we all had some good food, but the DM did say, "I'm surprised you haven't murdered more people yet, Mr. Orc," as he laughed. The next few sessions took place in the wilderness. We ended up finding out about some secret dungeon in session 3 and explored it. And by explored it, I mean the DM railroaded us through it because he didn't prepare any of the rooms that we weren't supposed to explore. We found a rusted magic sword that needed its power restored to reveal a secret to the party. So we left and went to the city. My character wore a hood and kind of kept his head down to avoid any orc haters that might attack us. But unfortunately, that wasn't enough. DM had me roll a stealth check, and to be fair, I did roll a 4. So people started seeing that I was an orc. Men looked at me with hate and women looked at me with fear. But no one attacked us. Yet. So we ended up going to the city's temple, where 2 Holy Order knights stopped us and said that they wouldn't allow that vile orc into the temple where he could get his hands on the good women of the city. Wow. Yikes. At this point, I started thinking, oh shit, is he going there with this? So I had my character sort of defend himself to make it clear that my character is not like that. I asked what the comment was supposed to mean. The guards then angrily said, "You savages are a threat to all women you encounter. Go on, get! We don't want a bunch of half-orcs running around in 9 months." Now, I stupidly assumed that this was still just in-game prejudice people, so I had my character explain himself. "I wish you wouldn't make such a crass assumption about my people. I am a family man with a wife, a human wife. and 2 half-orc daughters, born from our loving marriage. I would fight to the death to protect the women of this city, so enough with your foolish assumptions. DM then told me to roll a deception check. I looked at him confused as to why he would have me roll deception. Everything I just said was true and part of my backstory that I sent the DM, which, to be clear, he looked at for 2 seconds before saying, "Yeah, I'm not reading all of that." DM then just kind of laughed and said, "What did you put in your backstory? This isn't Shrek. The big green monster doesn't fall in love with the human." I then asked him how he thinks half-orcs are made. And then he just said, "Same way orcs do anything, by force." I then am feeling kind of pissed off, but still trying to hold back, so I ask him, "So, let me get this straight. I make an orc, specifically ask what I need to know about orcs in this homebrew. You don't say anything, and now you're telling me orcs can only reproduce through R-wording someone?" DM then said, "It's not homebrew. This is literally just how orcs are in any edition of D&D. You're lucky I even let you play as one. Most of the time, they are just a monster archetype." I tell him that orcs haven't been these one-dimensional rape and murder monsters for a while now, and even provide sources, and the DM just brushes me off and says, "This is bullshit. All of this is late 5e lore added after the company went woke, and I ain't playing woke D&D. Having more than one dimension is apparently woke. Oh, gods. I am now getting heated, and I tell him that this has been the lore for a while, even before the whole 2020 woke D&D discussion, and I explain that it was never canon ever before 5e that half-orcs were all produced of R. It was more of an assumption, and that wouldn't even make logical sense for all orcs to be like that. My arguments fell on deaf ears as the DM refuses to listen, as he is getting mad too, and just says, "Look, I'm not trying to argue. I'm the DM here. No human woman willingly is gonna F a goddamn orc. Get over it. You should have thought of this before you played as one. If you want, I can have these knights kill you on the spot, and you can roll up a new character."
I would willingly fuck an orc.
Yes, she would. But at this point, my desire to play D&D had completely evaporated, so I just said, "Fine, kill him then." Which he did, and then there was kind of a pause, as no one knew what to do from there. After that awkward exchange and obvious tension in the air, DM just called it for the night, and we went home. Upon which I informed the DM that I would not be playing in this campaign. And rightfully so. That is not a good way to resolve or deal with the situation at all. That is a really bad move on the DM's part. About a month later, the campaign sort of fell apart as the DM sucked, clearly, as he had a tendency to railroad the players. He was also lazy as hell, but he had some interesting lore bits, so our favorite DM decided to retire his character and pick up the campaign, and it improved dramatically. Bad DM had also rolled up a new character, but left the campaign shortly after because he felt that the favorite DM was ruining his lore. He also let it slip that he blamed me for why the campaign ended. A couple of weeks later, I got over my own frustrations with how the campaign went and rejoined as a tiefling cleric. TLDR, that guy becomes the DM and sucks at it. He takes a dump on my backstory multiple sessions after refusing to read it because orcs are apparently all R-words and murder hobos. I am so happy that OP could rejoin the game, and I honestly can't believe that some people are still so narrow-minded in this day and age. At the end of the day, it's not at all good or fun storytelling to lump up a full culture into one offensive stereotype. I do hope that that guy learns from his mistakes, but I am not holding my breath for it. With that, we come to the end of the horror story. Leave me a like, subscribe, and in the comments tell me if orcs can only be barbarians, what should the other race/class restrictions be? Not that I'm expecting this to be taken seriously, but drow should definitely stick to being warlocks. The link to the original story is in the description, so go give it a read. You can find my social media in the links down below as well. And with all of that being said, I will see you next time.